Right, hello guys, welcome back. This week, the available dungeon in Rite of the Nine is finally Ghosts of the Deep. So today, I thought it would be a good idea to provide you with a full guide on Ultimatum mode and all of the new mechanical changes, as well as how to best optimize your damage for a super easy 2-phase on both of the bosses, plus some general loadout tips to help make your Ultimatum experience as smooth as humanly possible. Because if you're looking to earn the brand new Eternal title, then you'll have to complete each of the 3 new dungeons on Ultimatum difficulty. One last thing before we dive into the guide, I do have a full video detailing how the Rite of the Nine event works as a whole. So if you aren't sure about how certain things work in this new dungeon crawling experience, then definitely watch that video first, then come back to this one once you're fully clued up. So without further ado, let's get into it. First things first, I just want to set the precedent that despite what people were saying, Ghosts of the Deep is arguably easier than Spire of the Watcher and nowhere near as hard as people thought it was going to be, especially when it comes to damaging the bosses. And another big case for that actually begins within the very first encounter. The two major changes that the opening encounter received are 1, the addition of an enrage timer giving you 7 minutes to clear the entire thing, but second, and arguably more awesome, you no longer have to complete 4 rounds of symbol running. Bungie actually listened to the community feedback over the years, and specifically for the Rite of the Nine version of Ghosts of the Deep, you only need to complete 3 rounds on the first encounter instead, after which it instantly finishes, which is such an awesome change and really helps to improve the replayability of the dungeon as a whole. Just listen to my team's reactions to seeing this be the case.
The counter to Consecration and Lightning Surge is a f***ing Witch Cloud.
I think you finished it earlier.
Oh, it's 3.
Oh, that's it. Oh, it's 3.
Oh,
Good. That's
Okay.
Oh my god. It's
Oh my
better.
god, that's crazy. What? Okay.
Okay, dude. Okay.
Alright, I'm liking it. Besides this, there's also a small change where after depositing a vestige, the next ogre that kickstarts the new set of symbols spawns instantly, unlike in the regular version where it only spawns after Deep Sight has ran out, again making the flow of the encounter that much better. Unfortunately, the transitions between encounters remain the same length, and there are no new mechanics that let you go faster underwater or anything like that, which is a little bit of a bummer, but quick tip, if you do want to go faster underwater, having 100 mobility will cap out your walking speed and give you the best advantage for underwater traversal. Furthermore, because we're on Ultimatum difficulty, the damage you take from suffocating is actually increased compared to normal mode, and you will die much faster. So really be careful about managing your oxygen, since if you're not, then one small mistake can set you and your team back by hundreds of meters. This transition is incredibly long, so take it slow, communicate with your team about which bubbles you're grabbing, and you should be a-okay. Remaining within the traversal section, the next change added is the addition of several mini-bosses blocking your path in various areas. So to move ahead, simply eliminate them and carry on. Upon entering the section with the rear end of the hive ship, a new boss level Lucent Acolyte will spawn, and be careful, don't underestimate this guy. He has a really chunky amount of health, but once you defeat him, a new loot chest will spawn and the checkpoint will update. And I think this is a decent change, since for one, it makes the transition a little more exciting and also gives an extra drop that the regular version doesn't have. While you're here, be sure to grab the first of the 2 hidden collectibles located on this small rocky outcrop overlooking the cliff as you enter the mini-boss area. After that, make your way into the hive ship as you normally would, making sure to take care of the Shrieker in this room so it doesn't annihilate your entire team, and after that, you've made it to the first boss, Ecthar. Mechanically speaking, there are actually no changes whatsoever in the Rite of the Nine version of this encounter when compared to its regular counterpart. They both function exactly the same. Kill the 3 knights on left, middle, and right, kill the ogre, run the symbols underwater, kill the witches, deposit the vestiges, and damage begins. The changes in this encounter come in the form of the boss himself. Ecthar's shield is essentially non-existent, and you don't need specialist weapons like Arbalist to take it down anymore. Any small amount of regular damage will quickly break it in no time. Second, Ecthar no longer activates his super ability before his shield is broken. So as you're setting things up like your Well of Radiance and so on, I'm pleased to report you won't be instantly vaporized by the spinning purple frisbee of death. Ecthar also has a new health threshold that I'm assuming if you don't pass quick enough will either wipe you or cancel the phase earlier, but with what I'm about to recommend for damage, you'll never have this problem. Plus, this threshold is incredibly forgiving. I would literally completely ignore that it's even there to begin with. So, about that damage. There are several ways you can approach the damage phase in this encounter, the first and most obvious being Lord of Wolves. And yes, even despite its nerf, it's still very good for close range boss damage. So if you want to be optimal with Lord of Wolves, here's what I'd recommend. Have one player running running Well of Radiance with Tractor Cannon and a secondary DPS weapon like Scatter Signal or a 1-2 punch shotgun like Perfect Paradox, and after that have the remaining 2 players run Lord of Wolves and an appropriate damage dealing super. For Titans, I would recommend running on either Arc or Prismatic with Thunder Crash alongside Curus of the Falling Star, and for Hunter, I would do Celestial Nighthawk Golden Gun. When running this strategy, a 2-phase is very much on the cards, as you can see by his remaining health in this clip, but in my opinion, and what many other players I've talked to have agreed is the far better damage strategy is admittedly, unexpectedly, Winterbite. It's funny because I never thought I would be saying those words in a DPS context literally ever, but if you didn't know, this season Winterbite is able to output some serious DPS provided the conditions are just right. And for the Ecthar fight in particular, these conditions are present. What are they, you may ask? Well, it's 2 things. 1, you need to be surrounded by adds so that either the Titan, Syntheseps, Exotic Gauntlets, or any exotic class item with Spirit of Syntheseps are able to activate their glaive melee damage boost. For both options, glaive melee damage is increased by 165% when surrounded by 3 or more enemies. And the second part comes from the No Bell artifact perk, where blocking damage with a glaive increases glaive melee damage by a further 85% for 6 whole seconds. As you can see here, my normal Winterbite melee hits for around 21,000 damage on Carl, but when I block some damage from him, it goes up to 39,000, indicated by the timer on the left. But during damage, you won't be able to see this timer, so you'll randomly have to block here and there to make sure you keep the buff applied. This strategy is actually what my team and I used for our very first run through, and not to boast too heavily, but we were the 5th team to complete the dungeon on Ultimatum across the entire world. So here's how we did it. Our class composition was initially 1 Titan and 2 Warlocks. The Titan, who was me, was running Arc with Storm's Keep Barricades and regular Syntheseps to boost my glaive melee and Thunder Crash damage. 1 Warlock was running a Well of Radiance for damage and to activate No Bell with ease, who upon placing their well swapped to a Prismatic loadout with a Syntheseps class item equipped. And finally, the 2nd Warlock was on Pure Solar running Song of Flame and Apotheosis Veil plus Tractor Cannon to stun the boss and provide a debuff for the team. As a recap from Spire of the Watcher, if you aren't aware, Song of Flame is able to repeatedly stun certain bosses by chaining the enhanced snap melee over and over and over, and this helps especially with Ecthar since it prevents him from activating his super ability and keeps him still, stopping him from moving outside the well. Don't worry, I will have dim links for all of these loadouts in the description for you to copy, but also if the Song of Flame stunning seems a little daunting for you, you can play it a little more risky and swap it out for another Titan with the same Syntho T-Crash setup, which we went back in and tested, and it does in fact yield more damage, but it's at the risk of Ecthar strafing around and popping super, meaning death is more likely. But in any case, here's what your damage should look like.
It's gonna be a slow kill.
No, bro. Burke is...
I mean, this is just so much fun.
Right.
Cook?
Bro, he's fucking bouncing me all over the place.
Oh my god, like, yeah, you could one-phase that, I think. For comparison, here's what the health bars look like with 2 Warlocks, 1 Titan, and 2 Titan, 1 Warlock. They aren't drastically different, so it's up to you on which strategy to go for. After Ecthar is defeated, proceed as normal through the final transition and be sure to hook a right as soon as you enter the main slanted room and collect the 2nd hidden engram located by this pile of rubble. Now onto the final encounter, and much like Ecthar, Simmumah has no mechanical changes either, and to sweeten things up, she also has a really weak shield that again does not require Arbalest to break and an initial health threshold. But like before, this threshold is meaningless. The main points of contention in this fight are going to be number 1, safely activating Deep Sight, number 2, dealing with moths, and 3, dealing with the Hive Lightbearers. So let's do things one at a time. The best way to safely collect Deep Sight is to either have someone distract Simmumah so another player can grab it in the meantime, or to have someone go invisible via an exotic class item with Spirit of the Assassin, which in my team's case is exactly what we went for. For dealing with moths, any automatic weapon will do the job, just be aware that each time she resurrects Vorlog, she will conjure a new set of them, so make sure to pay attention. Finally, the Hive Lightbearers are actually way less scary than you think. Check out this clip here where I simply stand behind my barricade and tank multiple discs from the Hive Titan. And on top of that, they don't have that much health either, so you should be able to manage by sending one player to each Lightbearer, but if you aren't feeling that confident, then it's totally okay to move as a group and dispatch them together. When it comes to damage, it's terribly simple. Just use 1 Divinity and 2 Queenbreakers. That's all you really need. Our exact class comp was 1 Titan with Curus of the the Falling Star and Queenbreaker, 1 Warlock with Well of Radiance, Cenotaph Mask for ammo generation on Vorlog plus Divinity, and another Warlock on Prismatic with Song of Flame for enhanced cooldowns and damage resistance with a Syntho Assassin class item and Queenbreaker for damage. If all is set up correctly, you should end up with the following.
He's hurting me.
You're not behind barricade, that's why. Barricade placement's actually like atrocious. But
I got a new one, I got a new one.
Fight it down, I didn't drop.
It's fine, it happens sometimes.
The well's out, I
Crash.
think. But we're behind. I used it already.
Sorry, I needed this.
To be fair, without a diff, it's probably quite annoying. So that about does it for today's guide on how to optimize Ultimatum Ghosts of the Deep. And like I said, there will be dim links for the damaged loadouts in the description for you to copy them hassle-free, and I hope you enjoyed the guide. I'm going to be helping viewers get their full gold runs completed this week over on my Twitch, so if you'd like some help getting yours done, then do come say hi at twitch.tv/llama2, and I'll try my best to help you. Anyway, that's all for today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now, dear viewer.